announce the time also, over?
On this episode of Rock River Rails, we visit Franklin Park, Illinois for Railroad Daze 2024. A day where rail fans from all across Chicagoland gather in Franklin Park to spend the day together enjoying trains and each other's company.
Hey, just make sure that knuckle's open. You just bump it right in and tie up. Yeah, I've been fighting with it. I'll see if I can get it here in a minute.
We arrived early so we could catch some of the static displays rolling into Franklin Park. We set up at Ruby Street and caught CPKC's displays, which were two GE locomotives wearing their pre-merger paint schemes, along with a Canadian Pacific former Sioux Line caboose. After the power and caboose passed, we crossed to the other side of the tracks to catch a CPKC power move. KCS 4002, an EMD SD70 ACE, and CP 8153, a GE AC 4400 CWM, were both being shuttled to Bensonville for their next assignment. Railroad Daze always has a healthy turnout of static displays, and this year was no different. CPKC and Metra are always great contributors, and they even let you on board the locomotives and passenger cars to take a look around. Franklin Park has a Metra station, and service carries on during the Railroad Daze event. This is the Milwaukee District West Line with service from Elgin to Chicago Union Station. Many rail fans take the Metra to Railroad Daze, but just be sure to know what platform to be on before your train arrives. This inbound revenue train was running cab car forward and being shoved by one of Metra's newer EMD SD70 Max. The locomotive is one of several rebuilds from Progress Rail with AC traction, 80-mile-per-hour gearing, HEP, microprocessor-controlled braking, and Tier 3 emissions. We would catch one more 70 Mac on this outbound train and then head over to check out the static displays. First up was a look inside Metra 97, an F59 PHI built in 1988. This is a former Amtrak locomotive and was sold to Metra along with 20 other units in 2018. Although built in the late 80s, Metra 97 has all the updated electronics and processors from EMD, as well as air conditioning to keep the crews nice and cool during the hot Chicago summers. After a look around the cab, we walked through the engine room to see the big 12-cylinder diesel that puts out 3,200 horsepower and around 2.4 megawatts. We'd head back outside after to catch a CPKC manifest train. I didn't lug my tripod through the locomotives, so some of these scenes get a bit shaky. What can you do, right?
And I just heard calling all stop. I just heard a 247 all stop.
Next, we walked through a Metra passenger car and would take a look inside the cab of Metra 500 right after.
Okay. Open the tank car.
Metra 500 is an EMD SD70 Mac, and wears the RTA, Regional Transportation Authority, tribute badge. This is one of many rebuilt 70 Macs that Metra has acquired recently as they look to modernize their locomotive fleet. Metra only runs EMD locomotives and acquired the 70 Macs from other railroads that were purging them from their rosters. The majority of the rebuilds come from Kansas City Southern and were sent to Progress Rail for upgrades before entering passenger revenue service on November 29, 2023. You won't see a Siemens Charger locomotive pulling a Metra train anytime soon. CP 8043, a GE AC 4400 CWM, was our next cab tour. In 2017, Canadian Pacific had General Electric start modernizing their AC 4400 CW locomotives and rebuild them into CWM units, adding the M, which stands for modernized. The original cabs were completely removed and upgraded to current GE standards with upgraded electronics, including PTC and FTO systems. 8043 was in the third batch of upgraded units and received an Evolution-sized fuel tank and radial trucks. Other improvements include a 10% fuel efficiency gain, 40% increase in reliability, and a 50% increase in hauling ability. The final locomotive we toured was KCS 5005, a GE ET44AC T4. T4 stands for Tier 4 emissions, meaning the locomotive passes the strictest EPA emissions requirements for diesel engines. That's going to wrap up this episode of Rock River Rails and our coverage of Franklin Park Railroad Daze 2024. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
They used to see in Boxy. Yep.